Welcome back, everybody. Sam the electrician here, talking about Western independence and Alberta separation. Today, Jason Kenney and the UCP were in court. I don't know if Jason Kenney was actually in court. I didn't bother looking at the live feed that was available, but anyway, Alberta government is fighting the federal government in the Alberta Court of Appeals right now this week, arguing that the federal government is encroaching on provincial jurisdiction when they're trying to impose a carbon tax on Alberta, and they're trying to get that kiboshed in the courts. It probably won't work, is my prediction. Didn't work for Ontario. It didn't work for Saskatchewan. Probably not going to work for us either. I think the interesting thing that will come out of it is how many Albertan judges dissent and side with the government over the federal government. And that will sort of bode well or poorly for the future of the legal state of things in the movement. You know, when we separate, we're going to need federal level judges. And this will kind of be a bellwether to show, how much loyalty they have to the federal government as opposed to the Albertan people. And we'll have to see what happens when we form the new republic. We'll have to maybe choose a bunch of new judges and decide whether they get to be elected or appointed, whatever the will of the people is in the new republic. I would tend to go with elected judges, but haven't really put that much thought into it yet, so we'll see what happens. Another big thing that was happening today was the premiers were all meeting, or some of them were meeting with Bill Morneau, the finance minister, again, and talking about this fiscal equalization thing. It's a pretty small federal program. It's actually one way that they've left open to him, that he can just change it and give Alberta a couple billion. 1.6 now I believe is the number, even though they were asking for 2.4 or 2.8 last week. It's been whittled down already in the CBC to 1.6 or something. Not that it matters. It's just it's bread and circuses, right? It's, oh yeah, look at us, we were reasonable and we gave you the billion that you needed or that you said you wanted, and so now you're going to shut down the oil sands, right? That was the deal, right? So now you can go ahead and strangle the rest of your economy for us, to virtue signal to the UN and to Saint Greta. So that was happening today. I don't expect much to come out of it. As I said, even if some money comes out of it for Alberta, it's the last thing we really want. We don't want their money. We don't need their money. We can make our own money happily and keep it for ourselves. Another thing that happened over the weekend that kind of made me angry, I heard on Friday on the radio in the car that Trudeau has given mandate letters to his cabinet ministers. And for some reason, the Minister of Heritage, which is supposed to be about history and the heritage of Canada, anyway, he's been given the mandate to regulate the internet. So here you go, Minister of Heritage. Can you just crush everyone's free speech on the internet now? Their excuse that they're hiding behind is they want to prevent online harm, whatever that means. Whenever I hear climate alarmist, climate crisis stuff, that harms me. So now are you going to ban all climate change propaganda from the internet for me because it harms me? It harms my chance of making a living? No, because again, like they said in the throne speech, the Liberals know the common good. They know better than all us Westerners. They know what we need, and they're going to tell us, and they're going to ram it down our throats, whether we like it or not. So here comes trampling of free speech on the internet for you through the Heritage Minister, who is some sort of anti-Trump fanatic from what I can see. So that's not going to really bode too well. I think it's already been pointed out that in the new trade agreement, there's a clause that says that no country can hold the platforms responsible for the content of the creators on the platform. So if I insult someone on YouTube, Canada wants to make a law so YouTube itself can be fined if they don't take down my harmful content within 24 hours. And that is so subjective. What is harm? It's these laws, open-ended laws, ambiguous laws that you can't put your finger on it. It's just so open to interpretation that it actually opens the way for other governments down the line to abuse it the other way. And whoever's in power can just abuse these laws, and that's why freedom of speech should be guaranteed everywhere, online and in public spaces and anywhere. I mean, no one is forcing you to listen to this stuff. That's when the law gets involved. You don't have to watch my channel. You don't have to read the newspaper. Even you don't have to expose yourself to what you would consider to be harm in the first place. You can choose other, platforms or whatever to watch. You can sit in an echo chamber for your whole life, like most people do, and search for confirmation bias. Then you'll never experience harm, right? So that was also very. It's just another sign of the liberals they're going to ram their agenda down this country's throat, and there's nothing anyone can do about it, other than the other parties in the government with a vote of confidence and stuff. That's the only hope right now is to dissolve this minority government and have another election, which again, nothing's going to change. So it's pretty bleak on the federal level of government front. There's no hope for Westerners. Saskatchewan, Alberta, chunks of BC, Manitoba, some of the territories. There's just the only hope is to stay unified, to get together, and get out of Confederation as soon as possible. So yeah, step by step, let's keep marching towards freedom. Take it easy.